Yeah.
Hey, and welcome to the show. I'm Andrew. Me and Tech talk for a bit. Our dreams got broken and shattered. That's what we talk about. Somebody eats a lot of chocolate M&Ms, peanut butter M&Ms into the microphone throughout the duration of the recording. I'm sorry. I couldn't fix it. There's no fixing that. Anyway, I love you. Bye.
And so Gene and Tina made Louise feel bad for leaving them behind because they're about to get on the ferry and get the fuck out. They got their candy. They were on their way. But they went back and helped those kids. And so Louise stole this girl's phone that kept driving around. She was driving around in a convertible. So she stole her phone and she used it to trick those boys to get them away from the tennis cars. And she told them to go skinny dip in this pool. Somebody in the neighborhood's pool, they told them to go skinny dip. And so when they're out there, Louise and them are behind the bushes while these kids are skinny dipping. And she's like, gotta get back at them. And so it's like, what do you guys have? And like, Gene had some hot sauce on him, like a packet of hot sauce. And so she's like, oh, perfect. And then Tina was like, I don't get it. And Gene was like, he confirmed it. He was like, if a penis hates anything, it's hot sauce. And then it cuts to Gene on the toilet having a taco and putting hot sauce on it, and he gets up on his dick. And then when it cuts away, he's like, 8 years old and still learning every day. But they only got one of them with the hot sauce. But no, I can confirm that I've got hot sauce on my dick before. Oh. How that happens, I don't know. I might have eaten naked 1 or 2 times.
You walk on that one, sir.
Yeah. I'm like walking around with a wet burrito covered in green sauce.
I try not to get too Jurassic Park with it.
Yeah. You don't want to have to drive to the clinic to get tested over a close encounter with a habanero.
No, not in this day and age. Let me close these.
Sorry to everyone right now. That is really noticeable.
What? Are you recording already?
Or should I not be?
Oh, I didn't know. I just thought it was picking up.
Yeah, no. That's. I think we're recording, right? Yeah, no, we've been doing it for a minute now.
Oh, so it got that whole story then.
It did. Well, yeah, I think it did. Yeah.
Oh, there it is. It's on there.
We're gonna open with a just dramatic retelling of Bob's Burgers. And,
hot sauce. Taco on the toilet is what it's called. Taco on the toilet. So since it's Sunday.
It is Sunday.
Yes, it is. Me and Lizzy were watching Signs, and I thought that was like, there was a part where Mel Gibson says there's 2 types of people in the world. The ones who believe in miracles and the ones who believe in chance. And when he talked to his brother, he had his brother say what side he was on before he ultimately sided on I don't believe in. And he was what was he, like a pastor or something?
Father.
A father, I guess. I don't know what you call those. Priest?
No, I think he was a pastor.
Oh.
Priest is Catholic.
Oh, I don't know.
Wasn't he like Methodist or something?
Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know what he was. He had the white collar. I don't know.
Well, it was Mel Gibson, so he probably wasn't Jewish.
Definitely wasn't Jewish.
Oh, is that what a priest is?
No.
A priest is Catholic.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, a rabbi is Jewish.
Right. Yeah, well, there we go. I'm learning. 37 years old and still learning every day.
Yeah. Just like hot sauce, you don't want to put a Catholic priest on your dick either. Unless.
Oh, God.
Ew. Oh, man. But yeah, so last time me and you talked on the phone, we got to talking about one of my still standing beliefs, and I always thought this. Even the Master's Commission, I think I talked to somebody about this. I was like, how come the Bible stopped? Like, there's no recording. Jesus. The Bible was being recorded before Jesus came along. Then there was a gap in between, and then Jesus came. And now we have nothing. There's no text for when 2,000 years after this, for somebody to be like, oh, what other good people walk the earth other than Jesus? Or, you know what I mean? And so, like, I mean, we got the internet, but it's like, it's too broad. It's too easy for people to get lost going down these different apps and different places you could go. And I truly believe that as a society, there should be like an extension of what the Old and New Testament were. Like, we just stopped at Revelations with the scary note of Jesus coming back.
Right.
But we're going to see some crazy shit first before he gets here.
So, yeah, I guess that's kind of the point of Revelation, though, is that it's this end cap. So, I mean, I guess you could kind of argue, since it's the end of the story entirely, that you really don't need to cover in the filler.
That's true.
But it raises a lot of questions about what we will get to read after the apocalypse.
Apocalypse BC.
Because there's a sort of an implication that there will no longer be reading material in a
That's true.
in the millennial.
There won't be any print, or there.
Like, would you need print? So this is what kind of drives me nuts about the heaven we were given. Like, why would you need books if you're like super jazzed about worshiping God all the time? So like,
break that down.
So yeah, okay. What they want you to believe in church is that being in heaven and being able to worship God. So they always used to describe it as like, the better you were in this life, like the closer to God you get to be in heaven. And like the closer you are, the more ecstatic kind of feeling you get, right? I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they sell to you. Yeah.
It was kind of like
placebo.
An orgasm, like a forever orgasm. Because what else?
It's an ordained orgasm.
An orgasm.
Oh man, that was close. It was close to being good and ordained gas. No.
Ordasm.
Ordasm.
Ordained.
We're gonna have to work on that one. We're gonna have to work. Boardasm.
Ordasm.
She went with it, so we're going with ordasm.
Ordasm it is.
I couldn't come up with anything else.
Orgasmically deigned.
So they give you this filler. Continue.
Right, well, that was the point. So why would you need books?
Yeah.
If you're constantly coming on God's face all the time.
Whoa.
I mean.
Whoa, Tiger.
Hey, that was kind of the gist, though, right? Because the alternative, like, because they didn't tell you that was it. They should. That's the way they should explain it. Because there's no other like.
No.
Yeah, because the counterpoint is that, well, it sounds very boring, and or there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
But worship God all the time.
Yeah, they made heaven sound hella boring.
Right. And it sounds like a pitch for like dating a gym, like the guy who runs a gym. Like, oh man, you gotta hang out with Brent. He's always like a ton of fun.
If he's anything like that other guy that watches porn in his gym, he should be the kind of guy we should hang out with.
Right. Now, but the thing is that Brent is describing himself to you in the third person.
Oh my God.
That's the kind of the selling.
That's how you get that guy's gonna be in heaven. I don't know if I want to hang out with that guy.
Like,
he's gonna talk about Brent in the third person.
Brent, yeah. Hey,
you guys want to hang out with Brent?
Where is
he at?
Well, the Lord does that a lot too in the Bible. For it is I, the Lord. Like, yeah, man.
That's true. He does announce himself a lot.
That's like clearly, yeah, he does, because there's always a question. Right?
Yeah, like Moses in the burning bush. What was that?
Why is
It's me. It's me, Moses. I am.
Like, you couldn't tell? What?
You didn't recognize me in this burning bush?
It's like a driver's license rolls across the dirt, and there's like a little flaming bush that says the Lord next to it.
The I am that I am. Moses went along with that, like, I am that I am. Who the hell is you?
Yeah. So, right, and then maybe, I don't know, I just think my mind immediately just leans towards, well, that's the description of the ego.
Yeah.
The cohesion of a singular I, a person. I am that I am. I think maybe it's bad translation.
It's like, I am that I am.
Right.
But it's like, wait, what? Yeah, I mean, that could be the point right there. The translation of it that probably got lost and retranslated so many times within this 2,000 to 3,000 years that this book has been around.
Sure. And the lack of anything.
And who was writing it while this shit was going on?
Who was writing it?
Yeah. So, like, I don't know much about the Bible. So was it like the authors that they used between the, the books of the Bible? Was it like people that were actually like, their job was to keep track of shit? Like they were the historians or something?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think by and large, obviously...
Well, the reason I asked you that is because my first year at Master's Commission, when I had a problem with a verse that I saw and I used it talking about a situation with JR and how JR just gave up on these kids, and I found this verse and it just struck a chord with me. And I was like, the Bible's wrong, JR's wrong. I was getting mad. And so they sat me down and like, Tech, we understand that, you got feelings about these kids and shit, but the Bible was written by people with God's hand. Or like, it was sounding like some real sick shit. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, they were trying to tell me that I cannot talk about the Bible because those people are like off. You can't touch them. They have no problems. They were given proper, I don't know, the credentials to never be talked about. Like their writing is unflawed. You know what I mean? Right. But if you read Psalms and Proverbs, there's contradicting thoughts all the time. All the time.
Sure. And I think just, running into that, this is a lot about how we approach the, biblical literalism.
Yeah.
So taking the Bible literally is one thing. And then so this is kind of hard to get my head around because it just popped in there as you're describing this, but it's most people in the Pentecostal realm and any evangelical circle lean towards the word of God is above any sort of critique or criticism.
Of course.
And that it is ultimately a coherent text. In
pretty much what they were saying to me.
Right. And then they just sort of like, and it's sort of, I think it's like a Gestalt principle. You know what Gestalt is? It's so Gestalt theory is like the sum of an object is other than its parts. So it's often translated as the sum of a person or a sum of an object is more than its parts, right? So if you add it all up, it comes out to be more than what it would have otherwise been on its own. But so like the Bible's coherent because it's coherent because it's the Bible, which is kind of hard to get your head around. But it's like its inconsistencies are part of that coherence. I think is where they would go with that. But because there's this literal take on it all the time, it sort of undermines the ability to have that cognitive leap into having a sacred text that because you so very often nobody stops the guy who's arguing a point about something insane from one bit of scripture. No one will stop him unless and they're less eager to stop him if it happens to be a popular sermon at the time and everybody knows what the hell somebody's talking about.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because they all heard the same sermon and they got passed around or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. That seems like that would happen a lot, don't you think? That there'd be like a really, I don't know, popular preacher and he'd have some...
No, yeah, I mean, we got him, the TD, Jakes, all the ones like, and then some of the more popular ones that have been getting in trouble. It's like these guys suffer the same thing. Like even the ones in the Bible, like they were in positions of leadership. King David, or Solomon, all these guys that like had something to do with putting that imprint on. Not only their livelihood was imprinted in the Bible, but they were also tasked with keeping track of it. You know what I mean? Like writing down what's going on. But it seemed like when you read the story of Solomon and the story of or the story of David when he becomes king, it doesn't seem like it's their own words. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so it's like, it starts out like any bit of literature. It's just a story. And then there's a text where like, there's a part where it does at some point speak to you. And then you have to determine if that's like, on I guess like, I guess like you would have to decide if it has any relevance to you. Like anything you would read or listen to. Because I believe, and this is just me, I believe like I could watch, like I watch Shirley, I like watching Shirley Temple movies. There's a story, there's a one thread throughout her whole career. She's an orphan. No matter how old she gets, that girl's an orphan. The story never changes no matter how old she gets.
Right.
She's an orphan of some kind. Now, Will Smith is the black version of that. Now, if you ever watch even from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, he did not have his parents. He was a child on his own out somewhere. But it wasn't. It didn't go like Shirley Temple's did. Will Smith's was more action driven. A lot of running, a lot of shit blowing up. We just watched iRobot. He ran through a house being demolished and didn't trip once. And I'm talking about big ass logs are falling down. White people trip over twigs in scary movies, and they're like in the middle of the road running, and just one little branch over there, and they fall down and Jason gets them.
So the question is, would Shirley Temple have tripped?
I don't know. She probably would have danced her way through that.
I feel like she'd have, her butler, who would help her tap dance from time to time.
Even when she was rich, like in The Little Princess, she came to this boarding house as a rich little girl. The moment the money stopped coming and they couldn't reach her father, orphan. Right then and there, no one made any attempt to really find her father. She had to go do it with the help of an Indian servant at the time.
Yeah, a lot of she was really capable of bending colored persons to her will. She her curly hair.
Yeah,
and
she had a magnetism about it.
It's true. There was a certain charisma about her.
Yeah,
that
especially for being a child.
Oh yeah. So I'm just picturing her and Will Smith running through a house, and
now who?
Will Smith's wearing white gloves.
No, yeah, if she got into a little predicament, and Will Smith is the leading man with her, I think she'd have to do a lot of running, chasing cars, trains, jumping off of shit. She doesn't have to do that in some of her early stuff. There was one movie where she got caught up with some Indians, but like she's always somewhere where the ethnicity is different from her. Pretty much. It seems like that sometimes. And just to bring back my train of thought, Will Smith, in every one of his movies, he's the lone guy. He has no family. He has no significant other. And if he does, they've been taken from him or he lost them at some point. So I Am Legend, like Hitch? Nobody. He has nobody in his life until he meets Eva Mendes. Hancock, he's this fucking superhero that when he gets around, I think they're angels or some shit. I don't know the basis of the story, but when he gets around Charlize Theron's character, he loses all his strength. And so he has to get, the further they are from each other, the stronger they both get. The closer, the weaker they are. Mm-hmm. But they used to have some type of thing that like there's Charlize Theron's character is super old in this movie, but no one bothered to question that.
Well, that's kind of a...
Pursuit of Happiness is like some shit.
He's single dad in that one.
Single dad in that, but like...
Yeah, and he's fighting for his son.
Yeah.
And they're sleeping in... I just remember a scene where somebody's crying in a public bathroom.
He's crying, and he's got his son, and somebody's like trying to get in. He's in a train station.
Yeah.
Trying to sleep with his son. But it's like most of his movies have that thread of slight hopelessness and desperation but it's Will Smith. So we're going to get an explosion. Some cool shit's going to happen. He's going to solve the Rubik's Cube. He's going to do a Rubik's Cube real fast. Like something explosive is going to happen when Will Smith is involved.
Which is why I'm so excited about the live action Aladdin.
I hate that part.
So, no, I mean, in a way, so
I have to watch it though.
I was trying to think of how his career, as you're describing it, kind of lines up with Aladdin and him playing a role that was once belonged to Robin Williams. Now,
man,
first, can we just be thankful that they decided against using a hologram or a CGI?
Oh no, I'm glad they didn't do that. That would
because they absolutely have the ability to do that.
Yeah, I mean, all they would have had to do was just take the audio and just find some, you know, like you said, CGI. They would have just created this character. It wouldn't have had no real like noticeable features unless they did a spinoff of Robin Williams' face, which I think they should have did. I don't know why they got Will Smith.
Well, they definitely did in the original because like Genie had a little bit of that underbite, a little bit of that Robin Williams kind of
the nose, everything.
Yeah, that crook nose, a little hook Roman, whatever the heck Robin Williams really is nose. That sounds really bad. I don't know what race of people normally has a hook nose, but whatever they are,
witches.
From the planet. No. Yeah, no, that's true. I was gonna say it's like anybody from Mork and Mindy's planet, but yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I usually equate that style of nose to like a witch.
A witch.
Because anytime they like dress them up, it's always the nose is always.
Yes, this is true. And Squidward.
So and like, Squidward.
Yeah.
His is more of a flaccid penis.
Sure.
Or unless it's a tentacle, because they never said if that was his nose or not.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, and he's only got 6 arms altogether. There's 2 up top, 4 on the bottom. That's 6. It's not 8.
If Squidward is somebody's imagination.
Squids only have 6. Octopuses have 8.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Oh, there she is.
Well, okay.
I can't look that up. Is it true? Oh, then it's true.
It's the only thing that sounds anything remotely like a fact that's been said in the last 23 minutes.
That's true. Yeah, we've been talking about Will Smith and Shirley Temple making a movie together.
I think they should. With Robin Williams.
With Robin Williams.
Like they're all holograms. This is after Will Smith dies.
Yeah, Will Smith is going to have to die first.
But the connected thread is it's like Robin Williams died because of a lot of stupid stuff going on with him. Like he had
I didn't look into
problems.
it.
And there was this sort of this lonely desperation about him as well. Huh?
He didn't want to deal with his disease.
What disease?
Yeah.
He was diagnosed with Parkinson's. He didn't want to
do
all the treatment and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I just thought they made it just seem like he was just fed up with life, like the most charismatic, energetic guy. And he had some social cues that everybody didn't get along with. Like there was talks about how he smelled and how he groomed himself and stuff like that. But at the same time, this dude's an everlast genius of like the cinematic world.
Sure, I think there's a lot to be said about his mind under the influence of pure cocaine. I always sort of suspected that at least in the 80s, that probably had a lot to do with some of his stage performances being what they were. And Mrs. Doubtfire. So Will Smith embodies this lone man on his own who's had like his world kind of fall apart.
Yeah.
I always sort of suspected that at least in the 80s, that probably had a lot to do with some of his stage performances being what they were. And Mrs. Doubtfire. So Will Smith embodies this lone man on his own who's had like his world kind of fall apart.
Yeah.
And that's been the character that Will Smith has played. So in a way, it fits him really well that he decided to play Robin Williams. He's not playing the genie; he's playing Robin Williams in the new Aladdin film.
Now, if he was playing like it would have been like Heath Ledger. I believe how when Heath Ledger did the Joker, he played Jack like you said. Will Smith playing Robin Williams. Heath Ledger he acted like Jack Nicholson. Acted like him. in the first Batman, that's the whole mood that Jack Nicholson was giving off, this not quite sure of himself, but very violent, but at the same time understanding. Like, you know, this juxtaposition of this man that just, his face, and at the same time, Heath Ledger pulled it off. Like, there was nobody else that could have did a better job, I don't think.
No, for sure. There's something powerful, striking about Heath Ledger wearing that nurse's outfit. Something that reminds me of Grandma a little too closely.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was probably one of the ones where I was like, all right, Jack Nicholson never had to wear one of those. You guys are going to do it. Just kind of keep him in a suit or something. But
sure,
they put him in a nurse's costume at one point.
All right. Jack Nicholson's in a nurse's costume. You wake up middle of the night. Jack Nicholson's there. He's dressed like a nurse. He's got your cock in his hands. What do you do?
That shouldn't happen. Hopefully I'm not alone like Will Smith when this happened.
No, yeah, you know, you're Will Smith.
Oh, man. He even loses his dog. What, in iRobot?
Yeah.
There was a cat that he befriended.
Like Will Smith seems to be the embodiment of white male rage in all the films he plays. I mean, like, his character, I'm serious, like, the symbolic role he's playing is that of, like, everybody who voted for Trump who's white and over the age of 25. Mm-hmm. Is like how they see themselves. They imagine themselves that they're the Will Smith.
Oh, hell no.
But they don't know. They're not making that connection that Will Smith is playing them in films. It just so happens that Will.
But white people love Will Smith. He does no wrong in their eyes. Even when he smacked that dude. What was the deal with that guy that you told me that Will Smith smacked? He was kissing people. He kissed Will Smith on the red carpet. Somebody was telling me that this guy is very popular that kissed Will Smith on the red carpet somewhere. And Will Smith smacked him in the face.
I'm not the guy to ask about anything in popular culture.
Damn, I can't remember who I was with then. Somebody was telling me about that shit.
Maybe it was Ember or Mark.
No, they're not. I don't know about that.
Who else do you hang out with?
I wish Mark. We gotta.
I felt like I was talking to you about it.
We have to get Mark talking about like the Emmys or something. Like we could just have him watch the Emmys and talk to him.
I'm not sure what the hell Mark watches.
I don't know either. Probably not. Almost certainly not the Emmys or the Golden Globes or like that.
I mean, I know he was in like when we were in Masters Commission and you guys are watching like Band of Brothers, and you guys will go from Band of Brothers to Dave Chappelle.
Well,
I don't know what else you guys were watching.
Just all watched Band of Brothers.
He did. I just thought that was
the reason why we started.
Oh, John Carr had something to do with that.
I remember he had the box set, and that felt like a bold move because that was at least $50 in 2000.
Yeah, that was especially coming from Best Buy.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, you remember? It might have been Barnes and Noble back because they used to have little.
I used to go there and listen to music all the time.
Ah man, when Barnes and Noble used to have music, and that's like a pavilion for a device no one buys because we all have iPhones. You guys want a Nook?
Oh,
that's like trying to.
They're dirt cheap too. Like they're so cheap now.
Yeah, well, it's hard enough.
Like getting Shiley a tablet was nothing but $80 for her to just do nothing on it. Watch some videos. That's it. It's capable of so much more, but we essentially just hand these kids these fucking black mirrors that their world is at their fingertips. And even today, or the other day when I seen Shiley and her grandmother's telling me, like, I don't have a problem. Their style is different from my style. I believe in silence. I believe that there's a time for silence. They don't. The TV is always on at the house. And if it's not on and they're doing something, Shiley's on a tablet. They don't just force her, or not force her, but they don't let her know to welcome silence and be in it, or sit down and read a book. Even if you can't read, use your imagination, which is what I do with her. But they have a problem with her in this tablet to where they have to take it away with her. From her. When Shiley is with me, she doesn't think about her tablet. Because I'm so hands-on, and I'm an advocate for silence. I'm an advocate for just taking time out to think. I'm an advocate for just talking to each other. They don't do that. And so now we got these devices to where these kids are how they used to thought our generation was being raised by the television. Now it's gone to that.
Well, look at us. We turned out okay.
We turned out pretty good. Here we are.
Yeah, here we are. I don't have kids. I live with my parents.
There it is.
I'm 34. So TV did me right.
TV has been very instrumental. I can attest to that.
I remember those spoiled kids that'd be on Maury, and then
oh my god,
they'd have like the boot camp instructor.
I remember those.
Help them get their lives right, so that they'd be responsible, productive people in society. And I remember watching those episodes and being like, "Sucks to be that asshole." I'm sure it did.
See, now because of my mom's style of rearing children, which is old school, because they're just, what they did is what their parents did to them. So they just took the whole book and applied it. Every weapon that was used was in the book. Stitching cords, plastic bats, knives.
Knives.
True story. This is when I was living in Texas. One of the few memories of Texas that I have. My mom had baked a cake. It was all white. It was beautiful. It had some pink. Like, she decorated the fuck out of this cake. And then she put it on the table. And at some point, she told me, don't bother with it. It was just me and my brother and her. Don't bother with this cake. It's for something. And I couldn't help myself. I took a scoop of it. And when my mom saw it, at some point she saw it. And so she called me over. And she said, did you do this? And I couldn't lie. It's just three of us in the house. And so I'm like, yes, ma'am. She went into the kitchen, got the biggest butcher knife she could find, and chased me around the table with it. True story. Chased me. I'm talking about laps around this table. My mom with a butcher knife, dude. I don't know if I turned out well. Like, I don't know. Like, the parenting book that they were going off of, I don't know.
Welcome back. So
yeah, that's a good one.
Tell me about your mom. Tell me about, like, what kind of person would chase her 8-year-old son around a kitchen table. Like, what is she normally so sensitive that she would crack up like that?
No, my mom's very reserved, and it's like I'm a lot like her. As I get older, I see things about myself that she started to do, which is like when her depression hit, and like a lot of things that happened to her. Like, I see a lot of myself in her. But when my mom growing up, like, my mom was not as violent towards me as the way I recall it. Because when I think back about that, I was like, she probably wasn't gonna stab me. But I didn't stop to find out. I kept fucking running. But I'll never forget the look in her eyes.
Was the look of someone who was...
It was like, I mean, like, it's a look that you will never forget somebody's eyes making. Like, it was just like, I couldn't even describe it. It was just like a demonic type of, like, the eye, like, just they get small, all the whites are showing. It was just like, and all I could do was run. At another story, I don't know what I did, but you know, like, back in the day, like, plastic bats used to have a little bit of sturdiness to them. Like, you weren't just gonna break them on something.
Right, yeah.
And my mom beat me with one time, and it broke on my leg, and it tore my leg wide open. I'm talking about, like, I had fucking deep cuts on my leg. Still a kid. This is Texas. And she stopped when she saw that I was bleeding. And then she'd ask me if I wanted to go outside. And I was naked. And I was like, yeah. And I just went out there butt naked and bleeding.
How old were you when that happened?
I don't remember. I mean, let me see, Texas. We didn't leave Texas until I was pushing 3rd or 4th grade. So yeah, around that age range.
And you left because the neighbors complained about...
No. When she met my stepfather in Texas, that's when we started moving. Because before that, it was just Texas to Virginia because my grandmother lived there. And so that was the only other state that I ever saw. Like, so when I first moved to Virginia, that was the first time I've experienced cold, snow. Like, it was all new for me, but I was young enough to where it wasn't like, oh my God. And so,
I think people still are young enough to not be, oh my God, but they really like people noticing whenever.
When I called my grandma, it was news to hear if it snowed. Like, it was like, did it snow up there? Tell me about it.
That's different. I remember when JR first came to South Bend, who was a youth pastor from Texas, Mission, Texas.
Oh, that's right. He's from Mission.
And he'd never seen snow before, but he came up from his master's commission class, did a little trip to South Bend to do some ministry for us. And there's photos I remember of JR getting to see snow for the first time on that trip when he came, and he's really stoked about it. He seemed pretty jazzed.
Oh man, that's funny. I forget that he's from. I thought he's from California or something.
He's in California now.
Yeah, he's in there.
Yeah, and obviously doing really well for himself.
He's doing very well.
I got to see him.
You did?
10 years ago. He's working for.
I tried to get Fred to connect with you guys. Yeah, I remember when he was working for Carfax. Because it just seemed like when he left the church, it was abrupt.
Well, yeah.
And it was like, I remember him like kind of being like, I don't want to be here if they're going to be this strict. Is kind of the understanding he gave me. It wasn't a goodbye. I didn't even know he was leaving the state. I thought he was just quitting.
Yeah, no. So I don't entirely remember. I remember hearing bits and pieces of JR's story as to why he.
I know there was something to do with Amanda Jones in there, but
we are recording.
I know we could always.
That is getting bleeped.
Yeah, we're gonna have to bleep that out. Yeah,
Bleep it.
But I know that she because there was this fucking love triangle between. We'll change their names between Larry, Skip. We'll call him Skip because that's a real name, and let's see what's that. What can we call the other one? We'll call him. His name was Ulam. We'll call him Malu.
His name was
Brett Ulam.
Brett T. Ulam. Phone number, address 19460.
There was this fucking love triangle between those three men and her.
So, yeah.
That's how I found out what JR's penis looked like.
Whoa.
Angie told me.
Whoa.
Yeah, Angie didn't know. Guess how Angie found out?
How did Angie find out?
The one that we can't. No, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Brett told me. You never know, man.
Well,
you never know the secrets that was going on in that church. I did not, because I'm one of the most. Like, you remember with that whole thing, you just got us a couple seconds ago. I'm very gullible. Mm-hmm. So when things get said to me and they sound believable and truthful enough, unless I be like, really? Then I'll just go with it. But if I question it, then it's like, then that's when I'm like, okay, there's a slight air of something that can't be believed in, but usually I just go along with everything, which is how I ended up in Indiana. I just go along with shit. There's a studio up here that I can go to anytime. Yeah, Tech. Actually, you're going to vacuum it. You're going to wipe it down. You're going to do a whole bunch of shit to the studio.
They did not tell you that you were going to be able to use the recording studio.
Luke Garcia looked me and Fred in our face and said, if you guys come to Indiana, I guarantee you'll have studio time anytime you want it. That's how he got us up there, man. I did not remember Master's Commission. I had no clue that it still existed. I just thought it was a couple white people that came to our church back, I don't know, 98, 99. Like around 98 or 99. Because I was in high school when they came. My story of Chris Klein in that whole scenario was, because I remember Angie and I think Matthew is from there, right?
Angie was from Baltimore. Yeah.
Oh no, Matthew's from New York or something like that.
Matthew is from wherever it's somewhere that it's inappropriate to wear cowboy hats, and yet he protested.
in the worst way. Like, he had no style about it. It was just on his head.
Well, I kind of felt like in a way it made it more legit.
Yeah,
honestly.
And it was like, but that's him, man. It's like, that's your look, man.
That's who he is, and that's been proved. That's been bore. You know,
I never had somebody go out of their way to that much to like, because you know, like I don't know, just I think it's just in the Black community culture to always shorten things and call people by nicknames, and so like to call someone Matthew every day is like, I'm not finna say all that, Matt. And so like the few times that I ever did it in his presence, called him Matt, he looked me right in my face. It's Matthew. I'm like, don't worry, I'm not gonna say your name too much more, man. I'm not gonna call out for you.
Yeah.
I don't want to risk it.
I think it's sort of a missed opportunity for a lot of Matthews to just drop the math part and go with the few. No. Don't.
Oh man, no.
It's few.
He's Matthew, and I was like, oh, okay. And this is my first go around, totally out of my element as far as Master's Commission goes. The funniest thing was the running dialogue was how much I changed a lot of those people's mind about Black people in general. I'm talking about there was so many incidences where I was alone with someone and they're like, Tech, I'm not trying to be racist.
You don't have to try.
You don't have to try. And then it's like, I don't even know what's coming. Like, we're not talking about race or anything, but they just feel the need to tell me that I've changed their view on Black people just from getting to know me.
That's not cool. What if
I don't know.
What if all other Black people are violent, dangerous criminals and you are the exception? I'm just saying, and I don't mean this to be crass or racist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, but it's I'm not being racist.
No, don't be racist.
I am a racist. Everybody's a racist.
I'm a racist. Yeah.
Everybody's racist.
I'm racist against Black people.
Right. Yeah. No. So for anybody to come to you and say, no, this I think is really screwed up about what saying that to you is that like I trust Black people now. I'm like, why?
Yeah, that's pretty much what they're saying.
Why would you trust anyone?
Yeah.
Like you trust white people? Well, since when?
Yeah.
When does a white person trust another white person not to screw them over?
Huh? Yeah, go ahead.
Like I don't trust my landlord.
Man,
I don't. In this instance,
I barely trust myself.
When I've had landlords, I've learned not to trust them, and they've all been white. Or if my parents.
Yeah.
I couldn't trust them to wear a rubber, but here we are.
Here we are. Oh my God.
But no, it's messed up. Like, cause to try, like, what are they trying to say about, is it that, do you think it's because they think that you think that they're racist, so that they're trying to like, absolve themselves in your eyes of their shit?
I think it's, I guess because, you know how some people, the way I grew up, it was very confrontational. Things happen every day, whether it be in your own household. And I'm not talking about like stuff to where like a passive aggressive nature takes place. It's like straight up violence that goes on. Like my stepfather abused me. Like people don't know that about me. Like I was abused as a child. I would never share that story and tell a whole bunch of people and be like, I was abused as a child. I even wrote this man on Facebook. I found him on Facebook. I'm friends with his son, and me and him were close when we grew up together. But I found him on Facebook, and I felt the need to tell him that I was going to kill him as soon as I grew up. And when I told my mom about this, because I guess it's one of those things like when a man and a woman gets together, and whatever trait this man has to where the woman feels like she can't escape him, or she needs him somehow. Like the things that happen, like my mom used me to help catch him cheating on her. And she was just, it wasn't nothing crazy, but I knew it was going on. But there was a moment late at night, he's partying downstairs with his friends. We're up because they're loud and we got school and shit the next day. And my mom, I'm sick as a dog. And so my mom comes in, I'm in her room. She's like, I'm about to leave. When I leave, I'm going to call you. and I'm going to ask you if someone called this house before I call you. So she was only planning to make one phone call. So if that phone rang any other time, which it did, and no one answered, she called me immediately after. Boom. Next thing I know, we're still with this guy. Some of the fights that they would have about you take your children, I'll take my children. We were in Central America, Panama at this time when we were with this man, and he was doing all this shit to me and my brother.
Why were you in Panama?
He was in the military. My mom was in the military at one point, but he was still in the military.
And what did they do in the military?
He was like an E8, E9 or some shit. Like I guess he was a career officer, I guess you would call it.
And your mom, what did she do?
She started working in nursing homes. Like, oddly enough, she was in the military. I don't know why I never asked her why she stopped in the service, but I'm assuming it's because me and my brother. Because it was just us, and she couldn't have kept going through the military that way. And so, but I think the things that's happened to me along my style of growing up, I don't really hear them as being like, if somebody says, man, Tech, you changed my mind about black people. I don't hear it because it's like, okay, I'm glad I could do it. I take it like as like a compliment, I guess, because like, I don't know that they had a big problem with, or they were scared, or they just had a bad run-in with somebody of my ethnicity.
So what you're saying is that white people are maybe too brave.
It could be, because it doesn't seem like something that it's not a tearjerker for me. It's like, I didn't know you had a problem with it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad I could change your mind about him, but that'd be like me, like if me befriending JR and then like him being nice to me and being like, oh, you changed my mind about Mexicans. I could say that, but it's like, no, I have Mexican friends. While I was getting jumped by Mexican, I still have Mexican friends. But I got, like, because of Texas and the way things are, there was a lot of black on brown crime, and it was just kind of embedded in some of those kids that just beat up black kids when they saw them alone.
Right.
I was alone.
Okay.
And I got my ass kicked.
But that's the thing. It's like Mexicans. It's not. So when we draw those distinctions about you are not like all black people, okay?
Yeah.
Like all black people aren't like all black people, right?
Nah,
all Mexicans aren't like all Mexicans. So when you're like, I think it's weird. These are obviously like different ways we kind of.
Sorry, my pits are sweating like crazy.
Whoa. I'm gonna see if the mic can pick up that
sound. Let's not get that secretion sound going.
Yeah. No, but like I think it seemed really, for some reason, it felt weird to me to hear you say that, JR, you've changed my mind about the Latinos, all the Mexicans, not even Latinos. I don't even know if that's totally really like, I've got this like lingering doubt in my mind if that's a thing to say anymore, which means it's absolutely not. But like,
ooh, excuse me.
But just being able to take an individual and then blow that out into your general perceptions about everyone of a race, I feel like that is actually the most racist thing you can do in that moment. I'm 20. Like, I've never been away from Virginia. Like, I've been between Virginia and Maryland. I've never seen nothing above. Like, I've never been further than that. And so when I come up here, it's like every chance somebody got to just remind me that I'm black in certain ways, or like remind me how cool it is that I'm there and I'm black, they did it. I was sitting with Jared Marcus and Chris Klein. This is when we were still going in those schools. And we're sitting at the table, and they're talking to me. And Jared Marcus goes, man, I wish I was black. And I was like, what? And Chris Klein was like, yeah, me too. And I was like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, why? I had no other question for them. Like, why do you wish you was black? Man, it's like the way y'all talk, the way you wear your clothes, your hair, like that was the realest thing I ever heard somebody say. Anybody saying that I changed their mind about black people
was like, when I could look back on it, it was like, okay, something underlying was happening. But when Jared Marcus and Chris Klein told me they wish they were black, it was like, I got it, because there was a time where I wished I was white. Oh, yeah. And that's because of the way people treated me because of my complexion. Got made fun of all the time. It was hard being me as a kid. And so, like, I guess I'm like a little bit, not jaded, but like I'm desensitized to a lot of things because I already went through it. Or it's like I went through it in like the most aggressive way that a kid could, to where like as an adult, like somebody telling me that I changed their mind about black people is not breaking news. But a white dude telling me he wish he was black is something I remember forever. And I'm like, okay. And but it was like all aesthetics of why they wanted to be black.
I did the thing.
What?
I did the thing I was trying to avoid doing.
Oh, it's only a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, it's not bad.
Babe, can you grab a towel?
No,
I'm using one from a Pitts.
Well, is your pit towel something we can...
No.
Okay. No?
Pit towel stayed in place. Yeah.
Dedicated
Are you
towel.
that hot?
No, it's probably like a nervous thing. I'm not, like I feel hot, but I'm not hot at all.
So...
No, don't say any ideas.
What now?
This is the best idea I got right now. If you're going to say put deodorant on, that's not going to help me. There's another one he's going to use.
You gotta put a nice towel under your...
That's
I'm sorry. It's better than me. It's better than me coming on your nice towels in that movie.
Whoa.
Remember what she said? We were watching, what were we watching? We were watching Knocked Up. And Leslie Mann's character was talking about how, what's his face? She's like, he masturbates on my good towels and they're never soft anymore after that. And Lizzie was like, is that true? It's like, yeah, I've come in a few socks, man. You don't want to wear them again. Like, even after you wash them.
It's like, yeah, no, coming in a sock, it's like what your dog catching you having sex. Like,
yeah.
You and the sock are both aware of that, so there's been an exchange.
Man.
You both are irrevocably changed by the experience. The dog and you and your relationship are fundamentally altered, right?
There's also a desperate need to, I'm not going to say desperate, but it's going to be, you're testing the waters with that because you're like, man, I can't keep doing this to all my socks because they're going to all just feel funny after a while. You're never going to want to wear them on a hot day. I don't believe all the juice gets out of there, especially if they turn the material into that. But yeah.
Only there was some sort of like specially made fabric that some sort of
condoms.
What?
Condoms? I don't know.
No fabric.
Oh, that can like.
There's a fabric condom that's probably not going to work.
That would suck for everyone.
Pretty porous.
Yeah.
That's a lot of friction, I think.
Oh man. No. Well, it is getting personal.
Yeah, no, I think maybe Liz is giving a look. Which was
she's getting mad about
pump
the towel.
brakes.
I was like, hey man, I just went for the first one I saw. I don't know about nice towels.
The towel's not.
That's the softest one you get.
Oh, hey. I don't
And
know.
now it's going to be really crispy.
Yeah, it's definitely going to have
about 14 inches apart from one another.
You know exactly what areas to stay away from.
Well.
Or just don't use the towel ever again. We can always get you another one.
So you have crossed.
I crossed the line with her, apparently.
Whatever.
Whoa, no, it's okay. You're allowed to be,
you're
allowed to be mad about your towel situation.
Yeah.
And
especially what I'm doing to it. It is like working as like a beaver dam or something. It helps out. It helps me out. Keeps the moisture down.
I keep thinking about
it's actually a thing about Oh, you're taking a picture. Oh, you already did it, didn't you? Just like looks like I got a bra on or some shit.
Yeah.
But I have this thing about when air's not moving, like my body just goes berserk, and the first thing to act out is my armpits.
Right.
You're really taking a picture of me, aren't you?
Yeah, well, it might help.
You're gonna flash it up there?
Well, you don't have video at the moment, although we might want to think about
Boop,
that.
boop. And then you show me.
Well, because this feels very much like the moral of the story. You know what we're talking about?
Kids. Yeah.
Hey, kids, do you hate wearing deodorant? You're not alone.
No, I love wearing deodorant. There was a time, like, you know that thing where they,
Don't feel bad. You smell like shit.
Like, I used to, like, buy different smells and everything, like, and then at some point, my body turned against me, and now, like, I gotta pay constant attention to my armpits.
Yeah.
And the environment I'm in.
It's called age 9, and you can't... I remember that betrayal, thinking, God damn it, my day just got so much busier. Because you gotta, like, now you gotta, like, really start remembering stuff, that, you know?
Yeah.
And every year, that's the thing. You have to, like, it's a little bit more, and I think maybe the thing that happened to me last year didn't necessarily help that, because now I've got this really elaborate morning ritual involving, like, all right, first we...
Like a bath bomb?
Well,
Or some shit?
well, no. So it's I use a safety razor now instead of those.
Oh, for
Yeah.
shaving.
And then I've got like a.
Man, I would like to see you with a beard, Kirksey. I don't think I've seen you with a beard yet.
That's because I can't.
I've seen you with a
grow
goatee one time.
I can't.
Looks
grow
like you
beard.
can because I see all the stubble and everything.
That is inevitable.
Oh.
At some point, so most men in my family, because we're a little Scottish,
Mhm.
got this weak kind of like Asian thing going on with our facial hair.
Yeah.
And not like the cool Asian thing where they can grow those amazing handlebar
Oh,
mustaches,
yeah. With the...
but like the thing where it's all patchy and sad, and you feel like the least of the lumberjacks.
And there's two different, color schemes going on.
Yeah, sure, it's a two-toner. Yeah, it's
No. I've had that, like, much of my life, I've been without facial hair. Like, when I was in Master's Commission, I had nothing. I barely had a mustache the whole time I was there. I didn't start getting anything right here until, like, 27, 28.
See,
on my chin.
you know,
You're not eating enough pussy, Tech. That's what they would tell me.
yeah, our highly disciplined and regimented religious training would frequently remind us of how much.
I think Z said that to me.
I feel like
Because I was jealous. I was like, man, everybody in the Master's house, could grow it good. Luke.
Luke's
Chris
a freak of
Brazil.
nature. Chris Brazil's the man. Luke is some sort of Italian, and that doesn't count.
Yeah,
Alonso, he's Puerto Rican.
that's true.
So you know,
I mean, he always
he's got
kept
the
it
blood
clean,
of-
but it's like,
Yeah, he's got the blood of conquistadors running through his
That's true.
fine, beautiful face.
he is a beautiful man if you ever see Orlando.
So it's okay that you can grow a beard, and I'm not gonna. I don't come from like a gene of like the most marvelous bloodline. I'm a stumpy man whose only
Same here.
saving grace is that I'm the only male Kirksey in 2, possibly 3 generations
Dang.
to have a full head of hair. Everyone else goes bald at 26.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like waiting for my day. I don't know when it's going to happen.
I
You
think
go bald.
before you do, you need to shave your mustache, but keep the beard.
Oh, hell
Start
no.
acting like
and look
you're-
like a gnome or some shit?
No. It would look like you're part of the Islamic Brotherhood, and that you're here with, Mr. X.
You know the funniest thing people say to me?
What's that?
Angie's said it like on a platform like Facebook or like Instagram when I really started growing it out. But people always said it looked Amish all the time. I'm like, what does an Amish beard look like? I don't really see Amish people enough to know.
Have you looked into it?
No, I just never thought about it. But anytime someone says it,
Well,
I never have the...
an Amish beard doesn't look Amish on a black person. Where Angie had some subtext to what she was saying.
Excuse me.
That's fake.
The first one he finds is a fake.
That's dumb. All right, whatever. Oh, here we go. Yeah, all right. Right.
Huh.
So that's how they wear their There's
I guess so. There's a little similarity there.
There's some sort of Bible reason for it too. I'm
Very
sure.
coarse looking.
Like, I've got to look into it, but I guarantee you there's like a religious reason why they shave the top, but keep the flavor savor. So robust. But you find the same style of beard. That's not right. What's the name of
That's funny. Well, now it makes sense now why somebody would say that shit.
Yeah. Anyway, but no, the only other group of people that wear it that way is the
Mennonites? I don't know. I'm just saying some shit.
Is it like the Nation of Islam? I can't remember its name.
Oh, okay, yeah, the style that you're saying.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Muslims.
But they're all clean shaven now. But in the '60s, they'd rock a beard. I think.
Oh no, yeah.
Am I just like completely misremembering history? I might be. Because this is not. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Whoever that guy's probably somebody who makes music.
Yeah, he's definitely from the.
Because he's
Nipsey Hussle.
Okay, ignoring the Grammy there, but I feel like we've come full circle. Bible, Grammys, Mark.
Ephraim. Yeah. That man died doing good in the hood.
Did he really?
Yes, he did. He was very rich. He was very famous, but he had this alternate way of thinking. Even though he was a gang-banging Crip. And when they make his movie, I hope they do it right, because this man's story is very amazing. And this is why I say, like, how can they stop writing the Bible when somebody like that exists and existed on this face of the earth? He made his fame, but the whole time, and this is even in his youth, in his early 20s, when he was making this money selling drugs or whatever, however he was getting it, he always tried to buy. He was always trying to sell things on Sloss and a Crenshaw, these streets. And so at one point, even though there was a cop at one point that told them, like, I don't care that he told them, like, you guys need to go legit. I don't care that you made all this shit on your own. You can't sell it here. And so they kept getting kicked off the block. He was raided by the police, all types of shit, because they did not know where this man was acquiring this wealth from to keep doing it. And so eventually he bought this storefront property, and he was going to try to change his neighborhood. Just to, like, I don't know how his team worked, but he had this in this very busy part of town, very gang, even the way he died. They talked about this alley where shit happened all the time. People got killed in this alley. That's where people always came and ran through. Very sinister alley, like some shit off of Finding Nemo. Don't go through the trench, go above it. Like, you know what I mean? And so how this man got killed was that man came from the alley. There's footage of it too. He came from that alley. He shot him right in front of his store. And he ran and he came back. Who knows if Nipsey would have survived with the first couple shots. But he came back and he shot him point blank in the head. This man went from the streets and he started building a tech. He wanted those kids, like, he was one of those rappers that believed, like, just because I'm rapping and I'm famous, don't try to be like me. So he started some type of, like pretty much like a incubator for kids to learn about technology, like just all the thing with coding, where the world's heading. He was doing it, and he was doing it ground zero in his neighborhood, like some Wakanda shit. He took these kids off the street and he tried to integrate them into the world that's coming for them, which is the world of technology, to where everything is going to be, you can either talk to it or touch it. You'll never have to go analog again if you don't want to. But he was doing this for these kids, and he was trying to set them up for the future. And then out of nowhere, this dude that he had a problem with came and shot him, because this dude didn't want the embarrassment of Nipsey Hussle having a problem with him. He wasn't going to talk about him in no songs or nothing, but he shot him dead. And it's like, that's one of those things, like, that's why I like to bring it back. Like, that's why I was like, I can't believe that the Bible stopped. Or maybe it didn't. Maybe it's just always being broadcasted between our phones and TV. We just don't have to read it anymore. But it's like when we go to church, we're always forced to go pick up this old ass textbook and try to apply it to our lives. And it's like, I don't believe that. I don't believe that the story of Solomon is always supposed to speak to me. When you got that guy and I can reach out, I could have touched him. I could never touch Solomon back in the day, King Solomon. I don't know what he looks like. He's not real to me in a sense. Nipsey is. So it's like, I can't, that's why I was just like, I don't know why we stopped writing the Bible. Like, who decided that was enough? You know what I mean?